Hey, this is Warryn Campbell, and you know I got soul.
For sure. I just want to start off with the Shame record, the Tyrese record, Grammy-nominated record. Just talk about the impact of the song and, how it all kind of came together for you guys.
Well, that song, man, it's special to me for a few different reasons. One is I made that song and wrote it with my partner DJ Rogers, and I produced the track 9 years ago. And so, for something that like that to sit on my hard drive for that long, and actually, virtually untouched, just put it out, and just all we did was add Tyrese to it, and put Jennifer Hudson on the backgrounds. And for it to be received in that way, it said a lot. It spoke volumes to the state of music and what people like and what they actually still want. You know what I mean?
And like with that record, of course, it's had a lot of success on Urban AC, and Tyrese, he's really upset that that song hasn't been able to cross over into the other formats. But in terms of you as a producer, do you look at that song as a success just based on what it's done for Urban AC, or would you like it to cross over for you to consider it a success?
Well, no, I consider it a success. I look at it and because the urban AC format is a viable format. You can't look at it and say it was only on Urban AC. Because frankly, it could have not been on the radio at all. You know what I mean? So I look at it as a success, and I appreciate the Urban AC format very much because they're still supporting R&B music. With that said, I do feel that Shame could have had crossover success if it was given the shot. I think Tyrese is more upset that it wasn't even given the shot. They didn't even try. You know what I mean? Like, play it once. You know what I mean? At least once. Nobody gave it a shot. And he knows, and it is true. It's not like he's making it up because there's so much evidence to support. If another artist, like he cited Sam Smith or Adele or somebody, if they sung that same exact record, or Robin Thicke or Justin Timberlake or somebody like that, sung the same record, it'd be all over, pop radio, and it'd be all over Kiss FMs and all those types of stations. Even when those artists, some artists, like in the case of Justin Timberlake, he's really trying to make R&B music. You know what I mean? He's not really tripping on the pop success like that. He's like, man, I want to be on the R&B charts, but because I'm white, they just put me on the pop charts every time, and that's not even what I'm aiming for. So it goes both ways. You know what I mean? So I do feel very, very proud of what we did and the success of that record in the Urban AC format, but I do feel like given the opportunity, it would have been received well if they just play it, give it a shot, play the record.
That's fair. And, we've come across so many artists who are kind of afraid to jump into that Urban AC market for that reason, because they still want to have mainstream success. So when you meet these artists and they're telling you that they want to make turn-up records, what are you telling them?
I tell them, one, I'm a musical snob. So it's going to take a lot for me to do that. I just don't do it because, I didn't spend 15 years training and learning, the art of composition and how to write from piccolos down to double basses to make trap music and make, hi-hats go fast. Well, I appreciate it because I can't do it. I did one record with my wife called I Love God, and I only did that because she was my wife and she kept begging me to do it, and I live with her and she can kick me under the covers at night, you know what I mean? So I had to do that. But generally, I will support our culture no matter what, no matter where it goes. But sometimes as a musician, I don't always want to dumb down and do records where, I'm completely using, not even 1% of what I know I can to make this record. And it's not always about, making this huge musical statement, but I want to make music that I know that 10 years from now you can put it on and go like, oh, this is a great record. Like the Tyrese record, 9 years went by and people heard it, and it's still. Oh, I mean, what I felt when I made it 9 years ago, 10 years ago now, you know, it still has life. You know, it still resonates. And some of the stuff that I hear, you know, our young producers and artists doing, I know for a fact it won't be here in 3 years. So I'm all about the conservation and the preservation of our culture, you know. So I think we should make important records. I think Usher and Beyonce, Kanye, anybody with a large platform in the urban space, use your platform, make fun records, make the records you want to make, but don't abandon the records that would you know hold the genre together and the culture together. Don't abandon that stuff. Make some important records. That's one thing I always loved about Michael Jackson. You know, he had fun records, but then he's going to make some very important statements with his music as well. He's not going to forsake the culture. You know what I mean? So I think we have that responsibility.
Who else are you working with right now? Because I know Brandy's working on a new project.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll get in there with her. You know, we go way back. But I'm really excited about breaking new acts. You know, while I am trying to preserve the culture and make sure I fight for the acts that the major labels are throwing away. You cannot throw away a Music Soul Child. You can't throw away a Kelly Price. You can't throw away a John B. because they still have a lot of fans and they're still making amazing music. So my job is to preserve that and make sure they have the best shot possible to still do what they do. But while I'm doing that, I also want to break new acts. So JoiStaRR, who happens to be my little sister, she's coming and she's coming hard. I mean, she's like, her new music is going to be so amazing. And so we're putting a lot behind her. I'm actually going to package her and John together. You'll see them a lot, doing a lot of things together where she'll sing and open up for him and maybe even, you know, on occasion do a little singing background for him on certain dates. But I'm going to have her do at least 25 or 30 shows with him just to get her out there while we're promoting her single at radio. Because, you know, I believe in synergy, in sharing platforms. So you'll see her do shows with Music Soul Child. She's actually on a song on Music's album. She's featured on the song on there called Part of Me that they kill together. And, you know, we're just pushing the whole thing forward, you know what I mean? And in the meantime, you know, we're looking for the next, you know, act that we're going to break, the next young, soulful artist, you know. But for right now, JoiStaRR is it. She's killing the game. I think everybody's going to be very, very pleased with what she does and her movement.
So I want to ask you about that. You know, we're here in 2016, and it seems like it's so hard for artists to break out in this time, especially R&B. You know, we see so many artists emerging online, and labels are even having struggles breaking their own artists. Like, what do you see as the biggest challenges? Do you see it, since you're a veteran in the game, do you think it's harder now than it used to be to break a new artist?
I don't think it's harder. I just think it's different because, you know, people, you can't say that people don't love music anymore, because they do. If we say, okay, all the music in the world stops, the music stops now, the world can't handle it. You know what I mean? We have to have our music. So that being said, I think we just have to change our thinking about how, and the music industry has to shift and look at how people are acquiring their music now. They want it differently. They're getting it in a different way, and so you just adjust into that. And so now, along with that, is the fact that the musicianship and the skill has been diminished, because we made a lot of money with mediocre records. You know what I mean? Records that were just okay were selling a lot, and so, you know, the record labels weren't requiring much of these artists that they signed. You know, as opposed to if this was 1960s and 70s, you had to be a monster artist to get a record deal. You know, now people are getting record deals who can barely sing. You know, you got people who, and we have these new, you know, terms for them. You know, artists that can dance but they can't sing. Oh yeah, he's a performance artist. well, then he should not be making an album. It's just put, go be a dancer. I don't know. Like I said, I'm a musical snob. Like, I feel like if you're going to record music, if you're going to be a singer, you ought to be able to sing. If you're going to call yourself a musician, you ought to be able to play. And so I think when the music and the product is amazing, people buy it. They bought Adele because it was amazing. You know what I mean? When Alicia Keys first came out, they bought the crap out of Alicia Keys, and when she comes out with another record and it's amazing, they buy it. When Jay-Z comes out with something amazing, they buy it. Anything that, when you go, oh my God, this right here is amazing, and they've pushed the envelope and they've come up with something that, that's just, creatively untouchable and undeniable, people buy it. It's undeniable. We got to buy it. And so I think it pushes, and it should push the artists and the writers and the producers to dig deeper. And don't be lazy. Like, learn more. Learn your instruments. The kids ought to be learning instruments, man. We gotta get back to the musicianship of the music. It's called music. So at some point somebody should learn how to play an instrument, and that's the only thing I think that's going to preserve our culture, our music. And I'm excited about being a part of it. Because I'm a veteran, but I started so young. I'm still young, so I'm in it still. I just, a lot of times people say, man, if I wish I can go back and be young again, knowing what I know now. Like, if I knew then what I know now. So I'm sort of in that space where I'm still young, but I've been in it so long, I know a lot of things. And so I with a lot of knowledge, I still have a lot of movement and a lot of relevance, so I can move around the way I want to. And which is, it's a beautiful thing. I don't know how long it'll last, but I'm certainly going to take advantage of it and try to be a part of shifting and shaping the culture and preserving it. We got to get back to the real music, guys.
Now, do you think it'll be possible to get back to the real music? Because, we've been following R&B for a long time, and it seems year by year, we see declines in sales, and just the quality of music isn't what it used to be. You still have great independent acts who make, amazing music, but in terms of the mainstream, do you think we'll ever get back to that point where R&B music and ballads will be appreciated like it once was?
It just takes somebody the industry, as far as the major labels go, they roll with whatever's making money. I don't care if R&B turned to making banjo music and it sounded like freaking bluegrass. They'll buy it if it's selling. Tyrese he's getting ready to round up at the 400,000 units sold on his own at Urban AC. You know what I mean? So it's there. It's there. If he can do that, imagine what a major label with a major push behind it could do. And so, and two, the kids. If you listen to Bryson Tiller's record, there's some real music on there. It's some trap stuff on there too, which is cool. But if you listen to what's playing on top of that stuff, you know what I mean? That's real music. I look at that and go, that's real. That's not. I respect it immensely. I respect everything my little man BJ, the Chicago kid, is doing. Like, it's real music to me. You know what I mean? And BJ, somebody I've known BJ since he was still in Chicago. And this is always, and he's a young cat. This has always been his dream to do real music. So the young people are really going after that. And it helps that a young guy like Kendrick has so much real music on his album. It lets you know that the kids are buying it. They're into it. We just got to keep making it. We keep making it, and then the major labels will say, okay, we want to do it too. Because if we push the envelope and everything's leaning to that side, they have no choice because they're the machine. They're the engine. But we create the gas. So as long as we create the gas, we have the control. So I just encourage everybody to make, real music because it will fuel the engines and the machines, and make it real. You know what I'm saying? But put your heart into it. Don't make it because you heard one guy on the radio sound like this, so I got to make a song that sounds like that. Prince didn't want to sound like Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson didn't want to sound like Prince. Neither one of them wanted to sound like Luther Vandross. Luther Vandross didn't want to sound like David Bowie. They all existed in their different spaces, and they were totally different. Then you had Bruce Springsteen and Tina Turner all at the same time. Everybody was different, but brilliant. So I think we just got to, once we get back to the real skill, you'll see music rise again.
Love to hear you speak on it, man. We agree 100% with you.
Oh, that's what's up, man.